Um, Comrade Michael, what's your take on this? Like the SUG and the students, the rights and responsibilities of the SUG, and also the rights of the students. Do you think these students are not being abused? Because I've heard cases of, students going to the SUG to complain that they are not actually having a good time with their lecturers, with their course mates, and with their colleagues. But you don't find the SUG doing anything about this. Instead, or rather, you find the SUG, just folding their arms and watching students having a series of carryovers, missing scores, missing scripts, then no accommodation, they can't pay their fees, and nothing is being done. So, what's your take on this issue?
All right, thank you very much. I think first and foremost, the students are the SUG, and the SUG are the students. There are no much separation between the two parties. The components of the SUG are being determined by the students via election. I would like to say that I quite agree with what Comrade Adele have said, that the SUG is saddled with responsibility to fight and defend the interests, the welfare, and the dignity of the students. But you find out today that in most of our tertiary institutions in Nigeria, the SUG has failed in that responsibility. They have underperformed as a result of some basic factors. For instance, they are not as independent as they are supposed to be. There's a lot of external interference coming from members of the management, staff, and even external politicians. Yes. So I've witnessed a lot of student union elections, at least as a finalist. I've witnessed several elections now in the campus. And I found out that during the electionary campaign, some of our politicians future or sponsor different candidates for the elections. So how do we expect such executives to perform? They won't be able to perform as expected because there's a lot of interference. So, but some of them are doing something. For instance, in Ife, we have seen students go on strike as a result of maltreatment of students. Even in International University of Education, there was a time when TASUD was about to be scrapped. And the students led by then, I can remember the SUG president, Plateau, and so on. They went to the governor and they fought against that policy. And today that university is existing. So some of them are performing. The instances that Comrade Adele made mention was that of UNN Nsukka recently, which occurred recently. So some of the universities are performed. LASU, we saw what happened. Even presently, as we are talking, LASU is shut down because the SUG and the other members of the staff are saying this VC must be sacked. So some of them are working, but they have to do more. There's room for improvement. Yes.
Thank you very much, Comrade Michael. Having heard from the three of you, I've come to the conclusion that with the way we just talked about this SUG thing, it means the SUG is saddled with a lot of responsibility. Of course, to protect the rights of the students and to also help the management understand the students' side of the story. Okay, before we proceed in this show, we'd like to go on a very short break. Don't touch that down. Thank you.
At this show, we equip you with necessary information about the campuses.
We have access to all university and campuses.
We give a platform for you to air your views.
You were watching the Campus Voice Show.
You are watching the Campus Voice Show.
You are watching the Campus Voice Show, salvaging the students' minds.
Welcome back to this wonderful episode of Campus Voice. We are coming straight to the last segment of this episode. Miss Matilda, I would like you to tell us how the SUG can actually enhance a very good relationship between them and the students. Because we've heard in most cases that the SUG and the students are not always on the same page. So how do you think the SUG can develop a good relationship between them and the students?
Well, I want to say that I always hear most things we hear is the students, the SUG, and the management are not always in good hands. Not the student now. It's because of the relationship that they've not created for them. Well, the student union government and the student can have a very good relationship if because if you look at during their campaigns and election period, you know, there's always too much familiarities. Like, because I know you, so you just come and behave anyhow. So if you look at it like you're having a very close mutual agreement between your friends, you have a lot of friends, it's not going to work out so well. Now, just set a very good balance, equal balance between your friends and the student in general. Work on a very balanced way and always listen. As because looking at it now, like, it's only when my friend comes and they need help that I go out to help them. And when a student that you don't even know, you just probably a normal student, and just comes and you just feel like, I don't know this person, so I don't want to do so much on this person's issue. So that should be taken off. They should have it in mind that they are working generally for the whole students on campus. So I think with that, if they're having a very good mutual relationship between the students, well, there should be a platform created for them. There's always a congress sittings that you have you hear the minds of your students, you knowing what they want, knowing things that they are facing, stuff like that. So with that, creating a balanced platform for them, I think with that, the student union government would have a very good time with the students.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Matilda. Very quickly, Comrade Adeleye, you can. I would like you to just say something to round off this segment. All right. Okay, I said I would like you to say something, even as we bring this segment to a close, about the SUG and the students on the same issue.
The relationship between the SUG and the student. I want to say this in a basic way or manner, that when you see a student union government and the management, when they have a rapport, a cordial relationship, then you should know that that student union government has compromised. When you see a very good relationship between the student union government and the management, and not the student, then when they are so close to some extent, you should know that that SUG has compromised in a very tail to the extreme, and to the 70 or 80%. The student union government should not be close to the student than the management. You understand? And if let me start this example. For instance, in TASUD, somebody told me in National University of Education that the student union allocation, the money they're supposed to be having for their budgeting every year, has been pocketed by the management. The management only release the money for them at the end of the regime, and in which in all over institutions, management, the student union deals is independent. Student goes straight to the SUG building and pay their deals to the student union executive directly. But whereby, in a situation whereby the management now disburse the money back to the management in terms of allocation or budgeting, you should know that student union cannot perform. In any way, they cannot perform, because even if they want to perform, they will be thinking, or they will be afraid that if we mess up now, these people will not release our money for us. So how do you expect them to perform?
Thank you very much, Comrade Adeleye. Thank you so much. Comrade Michael.
Yes.
What's your take on this? I would like you to say something very quickly before we.
I think all I have to say is, first and foremost, the student union government has to wake up to their responsibility. They have to know that they're elected to represent the interests of the generality of the students and not to defend the management. We are not saying that they should be out as an opposition to the management policies. In area that the management has a good policy, they should assist the management in promoting such policies. But in the area you have anti-student policy, like what you have presently in National University of Education, whereby students are not allowed to write tests because they are not able to pay school fees for at least for the first semester. It's an anti-student policy. I want to say a student union government that is more active, more proactive, more interactive, and more useful, and then rise up to the occasions to defend the student. They are a pressure group, and they should act as such. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Michael. I believe we have done justice to this topic. I want to say thank you for coming once again. Finally, we are saying to the SUG out there in all our campuses across the Federation, To whom much is given, much is expected. So please create a very good relationship between yourselves and your students, and also your management. Once again, thank you, Ms. Matilda, for joining us. Comrade Adeleye, Comrade Michael.
Thank you.
It's nice having you on the show today. Till we come your way next time, people, it's your one and only Campus Voice. Thank you very much for joining us today.